Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you can share. You can share it on your platform and on your other media online, and then we'll get started right after the song. So let me say good morning and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. This is a conversation with Power. We are here to discuss very important topics. Now, finally, will introduce themselves right after the music. Today, we're talking about the cause and effect of broken marriage, broken home, broken relationship. My name is J. Joshua K. Power. Beautiful song by Sion Missy, the Liberian Gospel Act. All right, beautiful song right there by Say Amazing Labran gospel musician. He said, I didn't know how you love me. Know that you love him this much, and that day it's on YouTube. Folks, if you just joining us, my name is J. Joshua K. Power. Uh, I'm giving some noise, so if you're not talking, just mute yourself. All right. Um, so if you just joining us, my name is J. Joshua K. Power. We are on a conversation today. We'll be talking about the cause and effect of broken homes, broken marriage, uh, broken relationship, and I have with me these beautiful ladies. My co-host is Anthony Boaga, Pastor Anthony Boaga Jr., and I got this beautiful lady who will be discussing it, the topic. So at this time, Anthony, are you there? Okay, you will introduce yourself later.
I'm here.
All right, so introduce yourself, and then we can go across the table.
All right, my name is Pastor Anthony Z. Boaga Jr., and I'm excited to be here co-partnering with my own president, J. Joshua K. Powell.
Thank you very much. We'll start with Fasia Hilton. Fasia, you muted. I think I can unmute you.
Okay.
All right,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fasia Hilton. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you very much. We will go to my own sister, Bonto Wayne.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Minister Beatrice Roberts from Columbus, Ohio. I'm excited to be here this afternoon.
Thank you very much, ladies. I will just lay the platform and then we can start the conversation. We don't have a outline question. We will ask a question on the basis of what you tell us, and then we can have a better understanding because this is a broad topic and nobody is an expert in it, but we have some kind of experience growing up or in our various relationship. And now growing up as a young man, grew up in the interior where our parents or our uncles and family had 2 to 3 women. Their wedding were not flamboyant wedding. They would just if the girl get pregnant before that wedding, they will go and meet the family, and then the family would turn the girl over to the man for a while. Once you give birth, the family will go back and turn the woman over to her family, and then they start the real conversation by paying dowries, and then automatically that woman is already married to that man. Those relationships lasted for a very long time. Matter of fact, it was a taboo to see a woman sent back home to her husband, and other young men would not even want to go around her because she is divorcee or her husband sent her back home, and it was a big stigma on people like that back in the days. Currently, in our generation, we have seen and witnessed many homes, many divorce, and many broken relationship. And it is normal. People get married after 2 3 months and they feel that I don't think this is what I signed up for. I don't want a relationship again, and then they just pack up and go. 7 years, 10-year relationship will just break up for thing that could be solved or could be resolved. Children are being co-parented by father and mother. Children will spend time with the mom on this weekend, and then they go to the father on this other weekend. So to this topic, we want to know what is the cause. Let's discuss the cause of broken marriage, and then after that, we'll go to the effect. Anthony, you want to add up before the ladies start?
All right, like the host said, divorce have become a serious issue now in our society. Like I said, we have many marriages that are breaking on a daily basis. I don't know, due to so many reasons beyond even our doubts. Sometimes it happens on things that you can't even understand, things that can be easily settled or compromised. But like you said, we're not going to intrude into the conversation as much as we can. We're going to allow the guests to tell us, since I know you people are women already, so you already know some of the things that you have observed. Maybe the fault is from the men, or maybe the fault is from the women. We don't know, but we're going to allow you people to tell us today some of the fault. And I here to take note because I'm single, so I want to be taking notes. So when I get to that point, I can be able to conduct myself correctly. But I also have some courses here. As we go on the discussion, I will bring some of the courses so that we can discuss it in depth. And I believe we will be able to give some resolution. And who knows, somebody may be watching just in the process of going through the divorce, and your resolution can help them for today. So thank you.
Okay, I will go ahead and kickstart. Well, let me give a disclaimer. I'm not married, but I come from a family of longevity in marriage. So there are many reasons why people get divorced. First of all, marriage is an institution. Is the only institution that you get a certificate, before you complete the institution. You know, in a university, you will go and finish all the courses, then you get your degree, you complete it. For marriage, they give you that certificate before you get into the thing, you know, into that institution. And what I believe is the marriage comes after the wedding. The marriage is the real deal. The wedding, you know, is the flamboyant stuff. You know, everybody's happy. You know, you have this big picket fence and things will be okay. But then when you get into the institution, that's when you really get to know who your partner is. Okay, so one of the major reasons for marriage is lack of communication, number one. Number two, finances. That's a major one. And I think also number three, if you don't know who you are before you get into that marriage, and you thinking that when you marry this person, they will make you who you are or who you will become. You have to know yourself and know what you want to do, what you know what you can give, you know, before you get into into the institution. And there are other facets, you know, where it could be abuse, you know, or one spouse is cheating, or you know, just you fall out of love for the person, you know, and women are more mature than men. That's a fact. So maybe the man is still immature. I'm sorry, Joshua and Anthony. Maybe he doesn't want to grow, you know. And I know I'm going into a little deeper. I'm going to go biblically here. You know, Ephesians 5 verse 25 says, Christ says, husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church. Okay, so but when I see this scripture, the way I interpret it is that men don't know how to love. We women, we know how to love, but we don't know how to submit. So I will stop right there and let my sister jump in, and then we can come back.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Asia.
Hilton.
Yes.
God bless. One of the causes we have, as we all mentioned earlier, there are so many causes of broken home. Some of the causes that I can highlight is lack of support. Mm-hmm. You cannot be married to a man or a woman that you are not supporting. You know, one of the things that can push your vision, and one of the things that can make you grow or even discover who you really are, is when somebody you love is supporting you, even when nobody is supporting you.
Yes.
When somebody you love is supporting you, that's like the only thing you need that can make you grow. And you too, you can even discover yourself. But when a partner is not supporting each other, it destroys you emotionally. It destroys your dream. It destroys your passion. And it even makes you feel like you are valueless, you are not worthy, or you're not doing anything. So when your partner is doing something, you support, encourage, lack of encouragement. And the other thing that can cause a broken home is lack of time management. If you have your family, your wife, or your children, you have to prioritize your time. And you see today, that is what is going on. People prefer, you know, getting more hours in their job, leaving their family stranded, leaving their family thirsty, leaving their family open. You know, there is a parable say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. You not making a time for your family, despite how busy you are. You have to create a time for your family. One man of God said, he said, your first congregation or your number one congregation is your family. No matter what, no matter your achievements, no matter your qualification, if your family is not together, is not well structured, you will not enjoy whatever you're wishing to achieve. So, and our sister mentioned communication. Communication is another very important thing. Anything happen in the family, you guys don't kick it out. Family should sit down and talk about it. And the other thing also that can cause a broken home is a slavery mentality. A husband too can cook. Like, look
Yes.
at our host here. Powell always cook. Powell even have a show that is called Dada's Kitchen, right?
Right.
That African mentality is only the wife can cook. It's only the wife can cook, the wife can clean, the wife can do laundry, the wife can take care of the kids, do homework, take the kids to church. Then when you come at night, you want to do your own homework on the wife. That's like slavery mentality. You guys have to support each other and let everybody, because the Bible says we are helpmates. We are not the one that's supposed to do everything. But as a husband, you should do things with your wife. Help your wife cook, or you can cook for your wife. Make your wife fish, make your wife chicken, make your wife some stuff. Then the other thing that can cause it is lack of understanding. You don't understand your wife. You don't understand your spouse. Because you don't communicate. The more I talk to you, the more I understand you more. But if I don't talk to you, I will never understand who you are. I will just be assuming. And today that has caused a lot of problem in home. Assumption because of lack of understanding. Assumption because of lack of communication. You don't assume. We communicate, we make it open. So let's destroy the slavery mentality. Lastly, before I rest, is overreacting. When something happens, some spouse can overreact above their limits. You know, there is always a way to make the fire go down. So some spouse, something that they don't need to overreact for, they can lose their control, they can lose their cool, and that can affect a home. There are some people when the husband is not happy, the husband can overreact to the point that extending it to the children. When the children pass, hey, stop it, scream at the child. That's emotionally destroying the child. So we should be able to have a self-control, maturity, so that we'll be know how to control whatever happens, because we can never stop. Things always happen. But you be in charge of that thing so that your home will not be affected emotionally and mentally.
Wow. I grab a couple of points. I grab a couple of points. Fasia said, men don't know how to love. And
women don't know how to submit.
Women don't know how to submit. And Sister B said, "What overreacting?" And those are very powerful points. But I don't know overreacting, Sister B. Are you speaking in terms of the women or in terms of the men?
In terms of both parties, there is a lady. Let me just give an example. There is a lady that I was talking to a few years ago. We were working together. She always talk about her son, my son this, my son that. Then one day I asked her, I say, what about your husband? And she told me, say, my sister, the thing that I know now, if I knew that thing then, I would not have divorced my husband.
Wow.
So she went to the point, the reason she divorced her husband was not too serious. But at that moment, because of the anger, because she failed to sit down and put things together, said, this is not worth it. This is not that serious for me to act this way. There are some things happen in a home. It's not that serious for people to move to another level. And there's another lady I talked to, and which caused her divorce. She's single, but she regretted. He said, the thing I know now, if I knew those things then, I would have still been married. I would not have been divorced today. And the other lady I spoke to, the other lady too, she's divorced. She said her how do you call this? Her godparents advised her to leave her husband because I think they caught her husband cheating. So the husband came begging, but her godparents insisted that you should not, you should not ever encourage this man again. Now the lady, she's very in regretful moment. She said, I will not have listened. Like other things that can cause a divorce or a broken home, outside people, you involving people in your family, you involving third party in the family. Those two examples that I gave was example of third party making it a broken family.
All right, let me jump in something. Quickly with something, right, concerning the slavery mentality. You spoke about slavery mentality earlier on, talking about only the woman doing the work. All right. FYI, I'm an African, right, from Liberia, even though I don't have too much rural experience. But let's look at cultural wise, right? Oftentimes in our culture, most especially the African, we know that, or we saw people, or our parents or our mothers were the one who mostly at home doing doing almost all of the domestic work, and the men were out there working. So how can you maybe you getting married to the countryman, for instance, a countryman, a man who is rooted in his culture of knowing that, all right, this is it, that kind of diverse way of doing things, like, okay, the woman, this is your duty, the man, this is your duty. How can you as a woman talk a man out of his culture and bring him to the place of realization that he out to distribute, or he out to help you in domestic affairs?
Yeah, like it's just the mentality of it. It's gonna be hard for African men, and that's the difficulty that we're still going on today. It's gonna be hard for African men. It's just like the system. For those days, those system, I can say those system was like permanent. It was nothing moving. You understand? It was fixed. The wife supposed to cook. The wife supposed to take care of the domestic activities in the house. The husband supposed to do this, work, bring money, go to the farm. So that is those days. There's no way I can say, oh, if I were in that level, I would have done this, I would have done this. But I'm focusing on now, because now both parties are doing the same thing. Those days, each party has their responsibility, Pastor Anthony. But now, the wife works, the husband works. So now everything is mixed. So we have to mix it up a little bit. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
So, Sister Fasia.
Yes.
Is it advisable, like B was saying, the godparents said the lady should not forgive her husband? Is it advisable to tell someone to divorce or to not accept the relationship because of what they did?
No. And, I'm glad Sister Beatrice mentioned third party, because I had that written down too. Don't allow third party in your relationship, because no two marriages or no two relationships are the same. Okay? And if every relationship has a problem, all right? If someone is telling you go to a third party and they're telling you divorce your husband, they themselves are not happy in a relationship. So they don't want to see you happy. If you go to anybody to give you advice and they tell you divorce, run. But at the same time too, you should have your own thought process, to know, say, wait a minute. And divorce is not the answer to everything. Don't get me wrong. If your spouse is beating you up, I will not. I mean, I won't tell you the divorce, but I will not tell you, stay there and get beaten or get killed. No. So there are reasons to do that, but not when you're having little issues and you go and talk to your friend or family member and they tell you to divorce and you do it. No, that shouldn't be the advice you should give.
Toby. Sorry.
All right, someone supporting the third party is not good. Harriet Hill is the third party. Is not, folks. If you just joining us, we are on a conversation and we're discussing. Right now, we are discussing the cause of broken home, broken marriage, broken family, and some of the issues that are coming up right now is yeah, it's both ways. You can come in biblical, you can come in social. We're just talking about home and family in general. It's not limited. So you can bring your contribution socially, we will accept it. You can bring it biblically, we will accept it. The goal is the cause of broken home, broken marriage. So it doesn't matter whether it's biblical or social. So
yeah, I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Mom.
Yeah, one of the other cause is like, know who you get married to.
Right.
People just enter into marriage. The Bible says if the foundation is destroyed, what will the righteous do?
Exactly.
So for you to avoid the number one, I believe the top number one cause for you to avoid it, and people get into marriage, they don't even know who they're getting married to. So you can avoid it, and it cannot be caused when you know who you are involving yourself with. You cannot involve yourself with somebody that is cheating. You already know. So many times you have caught that woman. So many times you have caught that man cheating, but you still went ahead because you want to prove a point. You still went ahead and got married to that person. And because of that, you saw the sign.
Yeah.
There is always the sign. And I can say,
you call on the show?
90% of all the relationships that are having issue, the sign was there, but we just tend to ignore it.
All right, Sister B, let me just hold you there. Okay. Somebody on the line. And hello, call out your name and where are you calling?
I'm calling from Indianapolis, Indiana, and my name is Sando Kamu.
All right.
This is a very interesting topic because, marriage is ordained by God. And when we look at marriage and when you marry a man, especially when the pastor says, until death do your part, it's one of the strongest commitment an institution you will ever say yes to or commitment. So therefore, when you marry as a woman or as a man, both ways, I don't think when your husband or your wife do something, the first thing you're divorced, because the next man you're going to get married to or the next woman, they might be worse than the one you had. So I think when we marry, we ask God and the Holy Spirit to direct our path. I truly believe in that. In any situation when I'm in, I can get upset, but I ask God and the Holy Spirit, I say, direct my path. And then when the Holy Spirit direct your path and you accept the Holy Spirit wisdom, you will always be victorious in all your situation.
Thank you so much.
Because divorce is very hard on the children.
Right.
Very hard on the children. Well, I just called to say thank you. I'm really enjoying the show.
All right, thank you. Stay tuned. There are more insight coming.
Okay.
All right.
I think I want to throw a light on.
Yeah.
I want to throw a light on third parties.
All right.
Yeah, I think Minister Beatrice and our sister Hilton spoke about third parties. That is very important, and that is why I think it should be a week ago I was having a discussion with the host, Mr. Power, on third parties. You see, when it comes to marriage resolution, right? The kind of conflict resolution wherein you people are experiencing some troubles in the home. I know we all sometimes seek help and advice from everywhere. But let me say this. Another person method that they
I'm
use
gonna
to
get away from the
solve
window.
another person method that they use to solve their conflict cannot be the same method that can solve yours.
Mhm.
The reason sometimes we get so frustrated is because we are trying another person's recipe into our own marriage,
Into our own soup.
into our own soup. All right, so let's take for instance, right? Let's take for instance, maybe I'm married and then I love to eat. And then every time my wife make me angry, the only way she can calm me down, unless she cook something like real kasali to bagi. And then she bring it to me. And at the moment she bring it, I start eating. I can't resist it. Everything I say, okay, you know what, honey, I forget about that already. That is cool.
Mm.
So another lady now in a conflict, and she go to my wife to seek advice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know what to do to always calm my husband down, and you know this, you know that. Then my wife on a recipe now, so always cook kasali for me. And then she tell the woman, you know what? Just cook kasali for that man. When he eat it, you trust me, he will calm down. And then wherein my brother of which they're cooking the kasali for, when the man mad, not even kasali can even cool him down. He don't even want to see food. So you will find out that you will be carrying a wrong recipe to your own marriage. So one of the best things we can do, or people can do, a marriage resolution,
I'm good.
is
I'm
to
in the middle of
study
I'm doing a
your
show.
partner
So, oh, you're
and
good.
know
I'm
their
gonna go
love
upstairs.
language.
I'll be down.
Because that is very important. Studying your partner and knowing their love language will help
Understand.
you
Yeah.
to be able to handle conflicts.
True.
Because if you don't know my love language, you'll be bringing another thing that I'm not even interested in, and I won't focus on you. So it is good to seek advice, to listen to other people, but also get to know what works for your relationship or what worked for your family and what worked for somebody else.
Yeah, I love
All
that. Like me, Toby know me. When I'm mad, just take me shopping. Just take me shopping, shoes,
right.
bag.
So, I see the apparently dwelling on third party. My
Mhm.
question is, before my question, I've listened to couples and they have testimony of people rescuing and saving their marriages. Sometimes the parent, sometimes the best friend, sometimes their religious leaders or whatever the case is. Who is a third party? Fasia, you want to start with that? Who who
Anybody,
who do we consider as a third party?
a third party is anybody that you bring from the outside into your relationship.
Okay.
Anyone that is, the communication needs to be between you and your spouse or your significant other.
Right.
So anybody from the outside, need to be a friend, a family member, your pastor, that is a third party. That's who
D,
I consider a third party.
what is your third party?
Yeah, the third party is just like our sister said, anybody, the third party can even be your mother, it can be your father, anybody can be your sister, anybody you bring into the relationship. But we have types of third party.
Right.
Types. We have the good ones, we have the bad ones. And what makes the third party good or what makes the third party bad is because of the spouse. What defines the third party or what gives the third party action or a mission is because of the spouse. You as the spouse, you and your wife, you and your husband, if the third party see that you guys are united, you guys love each other, the third party will have no job in your marriage.
Yes.
What gives the third party job or a mission is the unity between the spouse. But if the third party came here, even your son can be third party. If the third party came to you say this, and went to your wife, say this. But when the third party see that the bond between you and your wife, the chemistry, the love, there's no access, guess what? The third party will do nothing but to shut up.
So in other words, we empower third party.
We give them joy.
Because if we don't carry our complaint to them, if we don't carry our problem to them, they will have no reason. One more question before Anthony can come in. Somebody talk about know who to get married to. How there's a parable in Basel, and I know only Fasia will be able to interpret that. It says Nyoni Buru Ma or Nyoni Buru Ga. In other words, you don't predict your future husband or your future girlfriend or your spouse. You don't predict their behavior. How do we know, or how should we know who to get married to? Anybody can start.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in. First of all, like I said, once you know who you are, and you know your values, you know your wants, your dislikes, you know if you are a believer, you know who you want, you know what you want in life, you know what you want from that person. Then you can say, oh, this is the type of person that I want. But at the same time, don't make your laundry list so long that you lose out on the right person. And also you have to get to know the person. Pay attention to the little things. Don't just go for the exterior. Oh, he's handsome, or he has money, or he's well educated. Most times you will not get all three of those. I'd rather get a man that is not handsome, but he respects me and he loves me for who I am and he supports me. He won't have that slavery mentality that I have to do. And also pay attention to a man. See how he treats his mother. See how he treats his family. Does he, if you're a Christian, does he go to church? Does he pray? Is he spiritual? Is he a good communicator? So there's vast things that you have to pay attention to. Don't just look at the exterior, because the person can be nobody today, but make sure that person has the potential. I'd rather have a man that has a potential, that I know, down the line, he can become somebody. Even though he has nothing now, but he has that potential to be someone great.
Wow.
I'll let the other panelists.
Oh, well. All right, B, you want to throw light on that?
How to know who to marry. Just like Sister Hilton said, know what you want. If you don't know what you want, anybody can give you anything. It's just like when you go to a party, they say, serve yourself. You are the only one that can serve yourself well. You are the only one that can pick the food you want well, or else there will be different food that are so appetizing, but you don't want them. You understand? So know your values, know what you want. Like the Bible says, write the vision on the table so that the runner may run with it. You understand? So you know what you want. When you know what you want, with time, you'll be able to know, okay, this man has this, okay, this woman has this. Because to be honest with you, even writing the vision on the table, even the visioneer running with it, you will never get a complete package. You will never get a complete package, like 100% of what you're looking for. You, at the end of the day, let what you want have some percentage, then you can come and add the rest of the percentage into that man, into that woman. So you know what you want. It can help you. It can guide you. Don't just settle for less. Because of time has passed, because time is against you, because of pressure, your friends are getting married, everybody's sharing invitation, wedding invitation, then you just went ahead and married to this man. At the end of the day, 3 months, 4 months, you guys start fighting. And as our sister said, understand what you are putting yourself into. Because if you don't understand, then you, at the end of the day, you will find out that you made a wrong decision and you already gave birth to 2 children. So know what you want and be very careful when you're selecting your spouse. Nobody gets into marriage with the intention of getting divorced. But because people just rush into it, they don't study. They don't study the circumstances. They don't study the consequences. The consequences that involve in marriage is very emotional. It's very painful. So for you to avoid the consequences, patience, pray, and know what you want so that you will not make the wrong choice.
Anthony.
Yeah, I think I want to come in with 2 points concerning, I want to put your 2 questions towards our panelists, okay? So, sis, the name again, Hilton, I won't get the first name, but hey, Garcia, right? You spoke about finances, right? And that is very key. So I'm going to throw this question out to the panelists. I will give 2 questions. One is having to do with managing of resources. What you guys take on couples having the same bank account or couples having separate account? Because I think that is one of the issue of management when it comes to finances. Some people are like, oh no, you get your own account, I get my own account, or we have joint account, or we have this. So I want to know you guys take on it. I want to know you guys' best option. And the next question here is, should sex be used as a weapon to discipline your partner in marriage? I think I would like to pause there and get you guys' feed.
Okay, I'll jump in because I'm single.
Let's start with the bank account first.
Yeah, the bank account, yes.
Okay, so can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Sure.
Okay, so as far as finances, that's a major issue, and nowadays in the millennium, the man is the head of the home. He will always be the head of the home. The woman will be the neck. Okay, so but there are times when the woman makes more money than the man. Okay, but at the same time, you have to keep that respect that the man is the man regardless of how much you make. Let me just clear that up. Okay. And then when it comes to bank account, it depends on what you guys discuss. Okay. And the trust also. But I will say you guys should have separate accounts, and then there's a joint account as well. I think just for my independence, I want to have my own little account that if I go and buy something, he won't say, oh, why you keep buying this and why you keep buying that, but then we have a joint account that the bills come out of, and our joint savings, that we can use to do whatever. That's my thought process. I think that prevents, a lot of in the relationship.
Your point is have one big account and have 2 subways.
Yes.
The shopping.
Yeah. The one I'll carry Amazon order.
There you go. So that's why you don't have to keep the things in the car, in the trunk, and then when you go to sleep, then you bring it, hide it in the closet.
Okay.
Yeah. So test on the second one, then we can move to B.
So what was the second one?
Should sex be used as a weapon to discipline your partner?
No, never. It shouldn't be. And that's one of the problem that's one of the things that creates a problem in a relationship. However, sex should not be when you come home at night, then you just want to jump on the woman. It should start from early in the morning. You should start enticing her. Send her little love notes and stuff, just make it enticing, make it romantic so that when she comes home, she's in the mood. But you should never use sex as a weapon. Even if you guys are arguing, you should never use sex. Because sometimes, you say no, but you mean it yourself. That's how I see it.
Hold on.
You just meaning him, but you mean it yourself too.
Pastor, hold on. There's a part you strap. I want you to hold on there. Let me pick the call. Go ahead, call your name. Where you calling from?
Good dress.
Okay, my name is.
Shush.
Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, my name is Power Kona, and I'm following the show. I think it's a good show. You have your panelists are good. They are enlightening. Both those. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you got sound in your background, so you listen to the show. I see now you called it, so you got to load one of your gadget.
Yeah, I think I've done that.
All right,
can you
go
hear
ahead.
me now?
Yes.
All right, so like I said, your panelists are, sharp. They got a lot of good points, and I want to thank them for the work they're doing. It's unfortunate that you, as a panelist, you are neutral. Host, you are neutral, and you have Pastor Anthony facing two strong women that pushing the opinion of the ladies and leaving the men out of it. However, marriage is a good thing, and is also supportive. That when God made a man, He found woman and brought woman to be a helpmate. But a woman has a social responsibility that was given to her from the day of creation. She's a manager. Does not make her stronger than the man, though. They both have equal roles. But let me tell you what's affecting the marriages today from my perspective. And I like to also look at this. I want to also speak to what Minister Beatrice said. She said you have to know who you are and then know who the spouse is in terms of marriage. And today, brother, marriages are broken because of that. Especially when you look at statistics today in a global, consideration of numbers. The Western culture today, like America, Europe, there are more divorces and less divorces in Africa. You know the reason? Today, most of our sisters that have traveled to the Western culture, they forget to know who they were when they came to the Western culture. For example, a woman divorced her husband because she saw another spouse open the door for his wife, and this African dude did not open the door for his wife. She felt that she was in a abuse relationship because this man was not living according to expose her, And so today, most of the marriages are breaking because people who are Africans, like for instance, Minister Beatrice used a very strong word, and I think Sis Fasia alluded to the word when they said slavery mentality. Who are you referring to when you talk about slavery mentality? Cultural differences into marriage does not enslave the other spouse because there is a cultural difference. Today, Africans have come to America, they've gone to Europe, they've gone to Asia, they've gone to other cultures. Now they forget who they were. They try to adapt to the new cultures of where they are. So if you try to become an American knowing that you are African, it is going to cause a problem in our marriage because you know what? Americans have a culture of doing things that we don't do in Africa. For example, opening the door for the woman. We don't do that. Now that we're not supposed to do it, it's not embedded in our culture. So if the woman learn it and she feels she want it, she has to communicate it. It's like I can hear them, so I'm just talking. Everybody laughing, so it's like I'm not hearing what he's saying.
Yeah,
we're giving you a chance to talk.
I have them on mute.
I want to interject. I want to interject to your last statement about opening the door that, we don't know that, in Africa. No.
Allow you to finish.
We know that.
Go ahead, conclude.
Okay, so let me also give you this analogy, and I'll close on this analogy. When you see a man impregnates a woman, the only thing he does, he donates, his man organ to the woman. The woman goes through development. Her body alone develops that baby from day 1 to 9 months old until she gives birth to the baby.
Will you say God was unfair to make men to donate that sperm to the woman, and the woman body alone goes through the stages until she gives birth? No. God did that for woman to be aware that she's a manager. And being a manager, that's why you go through until the child is born. It does not negate the fact that the man is being selfish. The man is still the man, but he gets donated. But you see the stages the woman goes through to give birth to a child, the same in the home. You have a womanly responsibilities in the home that should not be a basis upon which you argue with the man that he's supposed to do the one. It's supposed to be your role. But is it bad that the man should help? No. If the man has the skills to help, he can. But if you as a woman, you need to know your womanly responsibility and don't turn it around on the opposite side because somebody else is not playing it. He says slavery mentality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me allow the panel to respond. There's a caller. Do you guys want to pick another call before we respond, or
no, let it just respond to this so the information can be pocket on them.
All right, go ahead, guys.
Yes, thank you, caller. You know, he made a lot of great points, but I just wanted to clarify on the fact that back home, because we're from Africa, so African men don't know how to open door for a lady. They may not be accustomed to it, but some of them know how to open door for a woman. Back home, I used to see my dad, opening door. I used to see other people opening door. Well, maybe they had traveled, or maybe from the upbringing, but it does happen. But he is right. But I think with the slavery, maybe slavery mentality is a very strong word that our Minister Beatrice used, but it's true. Men, most men, they have that old mentality that the woman has to be the domesticated one. No, we're here in a modern world. We all work 9 to 5 or 12 hours or whatever shift you work. Just as you are tired, the woman is tired too. Remember now, the woman, she has to take care of the kids. She has to do all of those things. But it helps when the man can come in and maybe, wash the car or, help do the dishes. Or sometimes if I'm coming home late and there's food in the refrigerator, you can take out your own food, warm it, eat, and wash the dishes. However, if there are older kids in the house that can wash the dishes, then yes, tell them, hey, clean the house. If the house is dirty, if you don't want to clean it, tell the kids to clean. I think that's what our sister is talking about. But men can cook. Look, my grandmother, now cook up as a woman. She made sure all the boys knew how to cook because she said no woman will bluff you. You will cook, you will clean. The only thing she didn't like the boys to do was to bake. If you didn't want to bake, she won't force you. But you had to know how to cook. My brother cooked potato green for you. You think that woman.
All right. Thank you, Fasia. B, you want to respond to Koran before we pick the next call?
I understand what the caller was saying.
Okay.
About we should not take that very serious. One of the things that break home is the cultural differences. Most of the women, African women today, they put themselves in where they don't belong. You understand? Yes, it needs to be your husband need to open door for you. But to be honest, that's not our culture. That should not break your home for that. That should not destroy your home. You understand? That should not be a cause for you to be lonely or for you to be affected in your marriage. If your wife or your husband doesn't open door for you, doesn't buy you flour, and the key word for that I can say is comparison. You compare the Western culture with your own culture. It's not the same. If your husband buy you flour for Valentine's Day, it's fine. If your husband, for me, if your husband open door for you for Mother's Day, it's fine. But if they don't do that, I don't think that should be a case, or that should be like a headline to bring issue in your home. You
guys shouldn't forget Anthony's question. I'm picking this and after I will put up.
question after that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, call out your name and where you calling from.
Okay, my name is Cornelia, and I'm calling from New Jersey.
Go ahead, Cornelia. Welcome to this conversation.
Thank you. I'm listening, and I believe that we have to understand that we have cultural differences, regardless of where you're from. There are cultural differences, but as a believer, because I believe everyone that's on this platform is a believer. As believers, we have a mandate as believers, as husbands and wives. And the husbands, according to Ephesians chapter 5, verses 25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with the water through the word. The husband is supposed to play his role and set the structure for his household. The wife is supposed to submit to her husband. So when we're talking about cultural differences with flowers and all those different things, those things are minute. That's not something to get a divorce for. But what the Bible is telling us is that a husband is supposed to love his wife. The wife is supposed to submit to her husband. But a lot of us these days, we do not even follow, even when we're in church, we don't follow what Christ did for his bride. He sacrificed. He sacrificed his life for his bride, just like the bride is supposed to submit and play her role to her husband, as the church is supposed to play their role for Christ. And so when we're talking about all these different things getting into marriages, I think that a lot of us fail. Husbands fail to play their role. Wives fail to play their role. We get caught up in social media. We get caught up in society. If you're talking about Africans, there's a lot of unhappy women in Africa. There's a lot of unhappy men in Africa. There's a lot of things that is in our culture in Africa that is not even supposed to be, but we still follow those cultures. So if you want to represent Africa and say that Africa, the way we do things, that's why we're having so many divorces, because we're following the American culture. You also got to look at the fact that there's a lot of things in Africa that is not even supposed to be if we're speaking as believers.
Thank you
If we're speaking as believers.
Thank you so much, Colonel.
Yeah.
Thank you for your points. Stay tuned as we go through. But the question is, should we punish our spouses with sex, or how do we control our bank account? Fasia alluded to the bank account, but we have a big joint account, and everybody get a Sharpie account. So she cool with our Piaggio. What is the take on the bank account and the sex?
Yeah, when it comes to the finance, it's just up to what you guys agree, and that comes to understanding. Some spouse, they can spend money unnecessarily, you know. Some spouse, they can say, okay, husband can say, you know what, you manage the account. But when it comes to splitting the account, us having a big bank account where we have our saving, our children, university or whatever, then us having our minor account, is just up to what you guys decide to do. But the most important thing is, whoever is wasteful, because there is one, whether it is the wife or is the woman, is the wife or the husband, the person that is wasteful should not manage the account. Some men, they can say, you know what, me, anytime somebody asks me for money, I give them. So, honey, you manage this account for us as a family. Some men, they can acknowledge their weakness when it comes to finance. Some women too, they can hand over the finance to the husband when they know that somebody will not ask them for big thing. They know they will take the money. So they will say, honey, because of, I know my weakness, you handle this finance. Just know your weakness and come together. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish and agree, because the money is for both of you. You leave the money in your husband's hand that can spend like, you know, anybody else, like he doesn't care. You guys will go broke. And when it comes to that small account so that you can do your own shopping, it's just to how you decide to do it. It's up to you guys. Every marriage has how they manage their accounts. It's different. Then when it comes to sex, sex should not be a way to settle peace. If you hurt your spouse, Apologize. Apologize. Sex should be something that is sex is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle in marriage. It's not when your spouse do something to you, you don't want to apologize. That's the time you go buy flour that you have never bought before. You understand? You go to the restaurant that you have never been with your wife before. All those things should not be like a subject. It should be part of the marriage. If your spouse hurt you, you hurt your spouse, apologize. Apologize and talk about it, or else it will go on again. So that's what I can say. But sex is a lifestyle when it comes to marriage.
Thank you very much. We have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller. Name me where you calling from.
My name is Anthony Gessler from Indianapolis.
All right.
I'm here to respond to two of the issues.
Okay.
All right. To be honest with you, this just came like a coincidence. I was listening to a foreign radio station and we're talking about whether divorce in India. You'd be amazed. The percentage of divorce in India is less than is the least in the world right now. All right. What about that? There is no one star city all. It depends on the individual. And what I heard the two female panelists talk about is about really the feminine side. Women said this is the first sex as well. The thing that the man can be used into having sex, that she said you start in the morning, with love notes, little compliments, okay? The woman who should be able to do things. But the problem with a lot of our African women is more the men, because the men are not sure what to offer it. And the next time, 1 or 2 times that he gets away, he will not want to do it. He said, well, if you can't ask, I'm not going to make the offer. So they live in there like two women. I think communication also is the key. But as I said, there is no one star fitted all. And my bank account, everybody has different spending habits. We all need already mature. Imagine with my spending habits, maybe you know good things I used to buy as well. They saw to loving me and good things I do because I want no kids, I won't do anything. Now to let me stop doing those things, it is when I'm very efficient all my life. That one when I met you, because you took care of yourself, you took care of your nose, your feet, your teeth, and all the diet that you have that maybe come to you. So why should I come and tell you, say, oh, you cannot do this? It is so about taking to draw the line. What can we do and what we cannot do? All right? We all are Africans. We all Africans. Most of us are from the background. Your parents is 55 years old, your children, it depends on you. And if you come and train line with people to take care of those people, you will be kind of taking those sort of family. All right? And the issue about, okay, the dog for them, the reason why you don't say Africa is popping up over fire. So we root of not to even know how to get out of those. There's a time to walk. You know, up to the parking lot when the second pull up, everybody rushing. Who's going to step with the cup of something? So those are those kind of things that we can learn and get reasonable with other practices.
Thank you.
Everybody has to learn to do this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what you guys were hearing here. You were a little bit low, but he was taking basis on the various topic we were discussing. We are about to go to the effect of broken homes and broken marriage. We want to welcome two of our panelists, Brother James Konan and Sister Florence Zeze, who have just joined us. Quickly, you can just introduce yourself and then just touch basis of what we just talked about. If you're following, and our next talking point is going to be the effect of broken marriage. But I want to start with you.
Okay, once more, my name is Kona Dakeme Power for sure. I'm happy to be here. I think this show is unique, and I've been following everything. Everybody is saying things on point. We're speaking our mind from different emotional background, but it does not negate the fact that we are all pressing the realities of what relationship or marriages go through today. And we are speaking from the angles where we are, what we are in the relationship, and some of the things we've seen. So let me concur with all the panelists and say I'm glad to be here, and thank you. I look forward to the effects.
Amen.
Florence, is it? Go ahead and do your intro, and we'll get started.
Yes, my name is Evangelist Pastor Florence Sise. I'm here. I'm so much excited. This is what I've been longing for, and I have a lot to say. I have a lot to tell the world and to tell people, especially the young ones that are coming up, and so that they will know how to live their life and the kind of relationship they will enter and what to do when they are in. So I'm so glad to be part of this conversation.
All right, thank you very much, both of you, for coming on. We are discussing the cause and effect. We just deal with the cause, and we are now about to go into the effect. But before that, I will turn over to Anthony, who is my co-host, to tell us his position and maybe on the effect of broken homes and broken marriage.
All right. Before we can get to the effect, I think we have two new panelists, and I would like to get their view on the last question I asked, versus Facia and Minister Beatrice gave their input when it comes to handling of finances, because this is one of the key things. Like, before we could get on the show, I did some research. Let me tell you some of the things I gathered. Lack of commitment in marriage have caused divorce rate to go up to 75%, infertility 59%, and then the people have financial hardship as one of the stuff that cause divorce. So I guess people struggle when it comes to handling their finances in relationship. So we were talking about how should finances be managed. What's your take on people having joint account? And the next question was should sex be used as a tool or as a punishment for your husband or for your spouse? So I think we can get the ball rolling from Mr. Power, Takeme Power.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me speak to first the management of finances. My thing I speak to is that in every relationship, there is one person stronger than the other when it comes to finance management. And if the both of you are happy together, working together, you need to have one bank account. That's the best way to prove transparency. That's the best way to prove accountability into the relationship financially, because nobody is going to think otherwise, because the money is right there. You see it. The bank account does not gossip. It speaks to the reality. When you swap the card, whatever you do when you withdraw, it speaks to it. So transparency is going to be proven right over there. And I say the strongest, I would have recommended, because that's not me. I mean, several situations may not be mine. Like in every relationship, one person has the discipline. The two will not be the same on a scale of equilibrium. One person is going to be stronger than the other when it comes to financial management. In that case, that person should be responsible to pay the bills. That person should be responsible to do the expenditure in the home, because they have the discipline. And they should control, most of the financial decisions in the home, because they are stronger. If you are weaker, the reason why you shouldn't be the one to take over is because you are weak at managing your finances. You will just spend it loosely. You could do anything without the caution of realizing that this is a joint account. My income is there, my wife's income is there, and we are putting it together for a common good. Sex. Now, if we try to align sex to the Bible says marriage is a good thing. In the book of Proverbs, it says, "He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from God." Now, that word is possessive. And the reason why I speak today is because marriage comes with the support and pleasure from God. God sees marriage from an undefiled mental. God sees marriage from the perspective where he considers it being good. So when two couples are married, from an internal understanding, there should be reason why one should say they can't give the other couple sex. But deniance of sex with no reason to the opposite sex is sinful, because it has the power to drive the opposite sex in a contrary way from where it's supposed to be. Because sex is one of the products of happy marriage, both way. I'm not speaking from any sexual means. You want to say something?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I wanted to get into the point that you strike, that there should be a reason of you, maybe not giving a partner sex. So let me just come in quickly. Apart from health wise, should there be any conflict reason that you deny your partner sex?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I would say yes. There's other reason. There could be other reasons why the partner could deny the other person's sex. Number one, look at sex from a pleasurable point of view. There's no way my wife and I will have confusion and we're not talking to one another, or let's say I beat on her and she's not happy, we try to have sex. The pleasure of the sex is going to be missing right there. And if a woman is going through her menstrual observation, the Bible declares that that's a moment where the body goes through, her body goes through that transformation. She has the right to say no to sex, because every woman reacts differently to sex. When they are menstruating, they react differently. Somebody will say, let's do it. It doesn't matter. No. Somebody will say no, because I want my body to go through the state of cleansing at this moment. But other than the fact that if the both of you are in normal condition, no battering, no fighting, but and then I want it, you're tired, we got to communicate it. If the woman is tired or the man is tired, the spouse has to understand that the opposite person is tired, because sex is a pleasurable thing. So if the person is tired, you can't force it, you won't get the pleasure of it. So other than those reasons, I don't think you should actually meet your partner with sex. I don't think so.
Thank you. Let's go to Florence. The same question. Should we have one bank account as couple? Can we use sex to deprive or punish your partner?
Yeah, I think this topic, especially when it comes to finances, a lot of divorce has happened. A lot of marriages have been broken because of this misappropriation of finance. You will see one person will just have their own personal accounts. We see one, we just have secrets, we keep secrets outright about purchasing financial decision or withdraw money without the knowing of the other person. And even when it comes to investments, you see like both parties will work directly, which is bad. There is not much communication of how to use this finance. I guess you guys are hearing me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. There is not much like unity when it comes to taking care of the financial aspect in the home, which is bad. And we have to try as much as we can to improve. If you are a couple, you should work on your financial management, budget together, plan together, and you will have a better home for real. Then when it comes to this sexual, you want to ask me questions?
No, go ahead.
Yes.
No,
when
I want to say something, but go ahead.
Okay. When it comes to this sexual thing in the home, this has been a problem, especially women are more vulnerable in this case. Most of the women will tend to use that activity in the marriage to deprive the men, especially when the man will hurt you. You say, oh, I will deprive this man of sex, which is wrong outrightly. We as women, we should not deprive our men from sex. In as much as we are living together, in as much as the man will hurt you, you feel a pain, but you should not deny the man sex, because you will tend to push that man to the streets. If you deny the man sex, the man will not see the importance, or the man will not even value, because there are women out there that are chasing your husband. There are women out there that have made themselves available when it comes to sex. So make sure you solve. That's why whenever you have problem, don't sleep with the problem. Make sure that you settle it together and live peacefully, and you yourself will enjoy yourself together.
All right.
Thank you very much. We are about to go to the next session. We'll be discussing the cause of broken home. We have discussed the cause. We're going to discuss the effect of broken home. Who are the people that are affected mostly in the broken homes? And right after this little break, we want to finally go drink some water. We go to next. All right, folks, let me say welcome back to the conversation. My name is J. Joshua K. Powell. I have with me in studio beautiful, handsome men of God and men and women of our community who are here to discuss issues that matters to our today's generation. Today we're discussing the cause and effect of broken homes and broken marriages. We have dealt with, I want to believe we have dealt with the causes of broken homes. There are so many points struck, and Brother Kodan felt that the men were being marginalized, so he came in defend to protect the men aspect of broken homes and broken marriages. But we are about to switch from the cause to the effect. I have a question for the panelists. We can anybody can start the ball rolling. My question is: do we consider people that will be affected by our decision? Do we consider the affected people before we take our decision? You know, maybe divorce, maybe leaving relationship, whatever decision that you are taking, do we consider the people that will be affected before taking that decision? We want to start with B. If you're ready, we want to start with you, and Anthony will come in with his question, and we'll just go down the line.
Me?
Yes.
Can you repeat the question again, please? I'm sorry.
Do we consider the affected group of people? Do we consider people that will be affected by our decision before we take it, or we just take it in our own interest?
Yeah, we should consider the people that will be affected when we that are involved take that decision.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people that are affected, most of the people that will be infected or affected, they are our children.
Mm-hmm.
Our children. We must consider them to live without a father, to live without a mother. You know, it's very emotional on the kids. It's very, very emotional. It's very hard on them, and that can affect their academics. That can affect their social.
All right, I think she's driving, and so we went off a little bit. You know, when you leave in the house, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So we should consider the children, Powell. We should consider the children, because child growing up without the parents together, it can affect them. It's gonna be hard on either of the parent they're gonna be staying with. It's gonna be hard on the mom, picking them from school, dropping them, working full time, cooking for them, and the father figure has to be at home. And both of the parents, they are very important. The father is important in the family. The mother is important in the family. If either of those parents are missing or are absent in any family, it's going to be very, very heartbroken for the child. So I will rest my case there for now.
Thank you. We'll go down the list. So Conan, is it important to consider the affected generation, the affected group of people, the affected factors into breaking the vow, leaving the relationship, whatever the case may be? Is it important to consider?
Yeah, I would say it's important to consider, but unfortunately, when the would-be or the people about to be divorced never take into consideration those things, like what our Minister Beatrice just spoke about. You know, most times when people are about to get divorced, their emotions are high. You know, at that point in time, whatever affected the relationship, if it is because of extramarital affair, if it is because of, you know, being a brutal partner, or whatever the reason is, at that moment, the affected couple is victimized at the expect. I mean, you know, at the point of those abuses or whatever the abuse is. So at that point in time, the emotion does not consider whatever the elements to be victimized are. For instance, the kids are the nucleus of every relationship. And the reason why they are the nucleus, because whatever income you have, whatever situation you have, it goes towards the support and upbringing, the raising of the children. So most time they are the victim when the two parents go apart. To answer the question, no. When people are about to be divorced, they don't take into consideration the children, because one person is hurt emotionally. Because if this person was taking into consideration the children, they will not be going for divorce. They will say, you know what, I'm going to go through it the way it is for the sake of for the love of my children, and whatever, I'll be there, depending on the gravity of the offense. Because I tell you what, a woman could easily want to bear with a man because he cheated, or a man could easily bear with a woman because she cheated, you know, to be in a marriage versus, you know, being a brutal husband versus being an abusive partner, vice versa. Don't get me wrong, there are some men that are beaten by their wives, and there are some wives that are beaten by the husband. It's on two sides. So whichever way the ball falls, I don't think they take into consideration the immediate victims of the divorce, you know, and what effect does it have on them? It creates a stigma on especially the person who is being divorced, out of the accusation that is leveled against or by the other person. For instance, if I divorce my wife because my wife cheated on me, I am an emotional being. I'm going to speak to a lot of people on the issue because I want them to see me clean and not my wife. At that point in time, my wife is going to get stigmatized by my accusation, and people will not look at my wife good again in the society according to the cultural norms we hold up to. We say, she's a bad woman. And tomorrow, if another man wants to come in, because of the stigma, you know, of that divorce and the level of publicity made by the person enforcing the divorce, could have a very great level of, you know, issue when it comes to that. So I would speak to that, you know, to give the other panelists the chance to just say their minds. But I think, no, they don't take into consideration when they're about to do the divorce.
Lawrence, what is your take on that? Florence, unmute yourself. You are muted.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, I said just like what the fellow speakers have said, the children are more vulnerable in this case. They suffered emotional drains. In as much as there is conflict in the home, we know you have daddy's girl, you have mommy's boy, or when there is a separation, these children will also disunite. They will not agree. That's one will lead to confusion in the home, even amongst your children. And for a child to be raised by a single mom or if a dad is really not good at all for that child, because each and every family member has their own role they plays. Like the mom has her own role she will play in the life of the child, and the dad also has his own role as like a covering over the family. That's why if you look throughout the world, the most successful people out there, they are children raised by both mom and dad. They are doing so well. You will know the difference. And we have most divorce now in homes because of the foundation. I tell you, the home you are coming from. Look back, the home you are coming from. I really admire those kids that are coming from a well-groomed home where the mom and dad have been together for a long, they enjoy love together. You see the same thing goes on with the children that they are bearing. And look at those people that are setting confusion in the homes, the man and the woman. Go back to history, the kind of family they grew up. You will see they will take what they have learned to the present family, and maybe that husband they have married or the wife they have married suffer the penalty. So it's really sad because this one has to stop, and we have to speak. We have a voice to speak to the community. The home that a child is coming up has a whole lot. I guess you guys are hearing me. There's like feedback.
Yeah, some of them are just quiet.
Oh, you are getting me.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate. Yes, it's so unfortunate, especially a child raised by a single mom. You see, that mom is like trying hard to raise that child, but most of them are not successful. So let's try to speak and try to fight against divorce. Sometimes divorce happens for just careless thing that doesn't make sense, just like simple disagreement. And the parents, they don't even remember the future of their children. I tell you, we thank God for Africa. It's only this new generation, because most of our mom and dad, they really bear one another because of their children. They will not just leave that marriage, even though they have been abused in that marriage, even though things are not working, but because of their children. And you find out, you see the fruits of their submission in that home, in the life of the children. So it's very good for us to speak out. It's good for a child to be raised by both mom and dad.
Thank you very much. Fasia, consideration. You know, there's a sort of a decision when you are mad. You know, do we consider the affected people?
Of course, you know, you shouldn't make a decision when you're angry. You know, let it marinate before you decide to make such major decision. But marriage, you know, it does have an immense effect on the children, like our sister Beatrice and the other panelists said. You know, it can affect them emotionally, you know, psychologically, behaviorally, academically, you know, and sometimes the children have to grow up a little faster than they should, because they have to take on more responsibility, you know. And then sometimes the kids too, they become defiant, become, you know, promiscuous, and acting up, doing things they're not supposed to do because of the decision that, you know, their parents made. So it's very, very very costly on the children. But also, you know, even the adult, it can affect your finances. It can affect your level of happiness. You know, it can affect you. You can have difficulty adapting to change. You know, especially if you've been with this person for, let's just say, if they were high school sweethearts and they got married, you know, and then 30 years later they get divorced. This is the only person that you've known. Or even if it's not a marriage, if it is a relationship that you've been in, you know, and then you and this person break up. It changes. You go through a grieving process. You know, you feel broken. The adult goes through stages of grief. If your husband is taking care of all of the finances, you know, you have to learn how to pay bills. You have to learn how to do things all over again. You have to learn how to date because you've been with this person for so long that you don't even know how to date now. You know, so it has a lot of effect, and it can also affect your faith. Because one will say, oh, why will God do this to me? You know, and you get angry and lose your faith, lose your belief. I hope that's not the case, but it does happen, because then you're saying, well, if this can happen to me, then where is God? We know that's not the case. You know, that's when you should really get stronger in your belief. And like our sister said, it also based on the foundation. You know, if you have that strong foundation and, you know, you guys are praying together and don't just make drastic decisions, you know, things will work out. So I will leave room for the other panelists to come on.
All right. So we'll go back to Anthony. If you got anything to throw light on, then we'll go to my next question.
All right. I think all of the panelists are on point concerning the effect. I mean, if people do consider the effect of divorce, mostly on kids. I mean, there's a saying that says you are free to choose, but you are never free from the consequences of your choice. So every decision you take today, there's a consequence or consequences attached to it. That is the reason it is always advisable that before you, Bishop T.D. Jakes say, if you have anything critical to say, or if you have any critical decision to make, wait when your emotion is not in it, then you can go ahead and say that. Having said that, concerning effect, I want to know, I mean, how to you, because one of the effect again would be trust issue. Once somebody get divorced now, their trust level now gets shaken. I mean, they enter another relationship, they find it difficult. So after their trust level is shaken, how can you rebuild a trust? I mean, your trust level, because getting divorced to another person, I mean, you have the likelihood of getting married again. And like Sis Fasia said, you're going to start everything over. So how can you build that self-confidence, that trust again, to re-put your trust in someone?
You want to start with Beatrice?
Yeah, the trust. Because once the trust is broken, you know, it's gonna be very hard to rebuild. Once you got divorced, if you want to move on, you really have to. If you want to move on, you really have to forget about the past. Whatever happened in your previous marriage, you're getting married again to another man, to another woman. Make sure you move on. Forget about the past. That man that broke your heart, or that woman that broke your heart, is not the same person that you are dealing with anymore. But some people bring their past experience or bring their past burden into another relationship that will never give you a healthy relationship. You have to trust someone until the person prove themselves not to be trusted. Every man is different. The only thing is, you broke out from that relationship. Now learn your lesson. For everything that you go through, any challenges, any difficulty, any experience, painful experience, there is a lesson that you must learn to prevent you for not happening the same thing again, for the thing not to happen again. So I can say you can trust anybody until the person find it very, very make it known for you not to trust that person. So everybody's not the same. Everybody's not the same. If you say I will not trust because of what I went through, my previous relationship, my previous marriage, that's how it started. It's no, you are starting a new relationship. Don't bring your old relationship. Don't bring your old idea. Don't bring your old mindset, your old mentality into this new relationship, or else you will never get peace. You will never enjoy love. You will never enjoy a family. So you have to trust, no matter what happened in your past experience. So that's what I can say.
Thank you. Koran, let's go.
Sorry, I was being distracted. Sorry.
So
Koran,
Koran,
Koran, before you come, we have a call. Caller, your name, where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Anthony from Indiana again.
All right.
I know the first time yourself, I found it kind of a little low.
Yeah, much better.
I'm not better.
Yeah,
Now?
yeah, much better.
So the effect of marriage or the effect of divorce. When I was much younger, I condemned people who, after divorce, some of them became alcoholics, some of them committed suicide, some of them just became weird. But based on my own experience, divorce is very difficult. Okay? The sister said you cannot do the fast thing. What does if you trusted the first person, you give them all your all, and they tell them to betray you. And you say you should I'm quoting on, learn from the past. Are you going to trust again? That trust you gave and it got broken. Are you going to trust like that? The answer obviously is no. All right? And then when a person goes through divorce, you see the person differently. And like I tell people, I will never condemn the person who goes through divorce and has a real behavior or something, because the moment I will condemn you, I will have to face the same situation like you. And sometimes become alcoholic. Why you can't stop drinking? If it's not just drinking, the one minute to drink is what you have identified. And then the children, after anybody who is having similar situation, I said, no, use the children as a judge. Do not go to counselor. They are not feeling the pain you are feeling. Do not call a friend. Maybe the friend you call in, even when the see your marriage is broken, so they can come out and make you as a better discussion. The consequence of divorce can be multiple. And it depends on the age you are when you divorce. A person can be divorced in their 30 or 40, they think that's a divorce. But if you are in your 50 and 60, you have invested all your time and resources, and you get divorced. Now, where are you going to pick up the pieces? Especially we are in an environment where it's like a clearing house. If you divorce, depending on financial status or how many kids or the stages of your children, you get too much. Something is set up for years, and all those things are taken for you. Something will be tough to follow. Yeah?
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so Koran will go to you. You can respond. You can contribute to Anthony's statement, and then you just add into what the question is, and then we'll move forward.
Yeah, so before moving forward, I really never got the question. I only heard Minister Beatrice, analogy. I never got a question. So please help me, brother.
The question it was more about trust. How can you go about rebuilding trust after you have been broken? That's basically more about it.
Oh, okay. So I like to just say trust is a word that you look at very likely, but it comes in several folds. So then I would say depending on what kind of trust were broken, it's a financial trust, it's a commitment trust, it's a communication trust. Depending on the level of trust that was broken, I would allude to the fact that especially from, let me speak from a biblical perspective. When we look at divorce, the issue of trust, except for, extramarital affair, is not a basis upon which divorce is supposed to be executed. I'm speaking from a biblical perspective. So if you are about to say you're not supposed to trust somebody anymore because they had a character default or they had a character formed, I would say think about how long did this relationship last? Is it a 3-year-old relationship? Is it a 15-year-old relationship? Is it a 20-year-old relationship? Take into consideration the duration of time you've spent with this partner. And now, was this issue there over these years, or is it just coming into the play? Is it just coming into your relationship? Before you think as to whether you want to consider trusting again or don't trust, because if you don't trust a partner again, I would say that it's needless to be into a relationship with a person, because you must trust the person before you be in relationship with them. For instance, I have my phone, I have a code on the phone, and the reason why I put the code on the phone is not because I'm afraid for my wife to go into my phone. It's because hackers, they got layers of things to go through. My wife knows my password, my daughter knows my password. They both know my password to enter my phone. So even if I want to change it today, I tell my wife I'm changing my phone code from this to that. Because the issue of trust comes in several forms and manners. So I would not think that I shouldn't trust a partner because they made one mistake. I would not think I shouldn't trust a partner because, they did not live up to my expectation at a certain level. What's about the forgiveness aspect that Jesus talked about? What's about the number of times Jesus said we should forgive one person? Is it also applicable to marriage? Or no, Jesus was not talking to married couples. He was just talking to people who were like into the regular world. No, what Jesus said was borderless, boundaryless. He was speaking to any situation that involves a person offending you or committing an act against you. If Jesus was tired with our confidence to love him, to worship him, I think then Christianity will have a problem. But from the social side, I would say, depending on the gravity of the trust that was broken or defied, it's a good thing to give a person a second chance. So if it happened to me, would I forgive the person? Yes, brother. I don't want to sell myself on a social media platform. I've been through dark moments. I've been through moments where I was forgiven and I had to forgive people, because of offenses that were committed. So I tell anybody, if you truly love the person, like the way Jesus loved, or with all the sins we've committed, listen, when we came, the man set up in a garden that was so sweet. Nice, everything was there. We still challenged the man, we defy him. He pushed us away and he still saw the need to come and die for us, because love is unconditional. And when that love is truly unconditional, no matter of stigma can affect it. No matter of betrayal can affect it. No matter of consequences surrounding the love can affect it. So I would say, I can love again. I can trust you again, just so that I can give you a second chance. And I think I can do that. Thank you.
Now the problem with pastor, and when you get a chance, they want change the whole thing the same.
So hold on. You see, if you want me to go secular, bro, I can go secular and I can bring the social aspect about it. Let me tell you what. Okay, no problem.
Trust. That's once someone betrays you, it's a tough one. But you cannot live in that box.
Okay.
You cannot. And like Mr. Power said, you have to forgive and you have to move on. If not, you will not be able to get to the next level to enjoy the other relationship. And I agree with Sister Beatrice. don't bring that issue into the other relationship. You have to give this other person a chance, but you have to learn from whatever caused that trust issue, that betrayal, those triggers. Then it has to be in the back of your head so that when you see it, your light bulb will go off or it will come on.
All right. Well, we are about to close up. I got my last question here. I don't know.
Let me throw a light on like what's the question about this. Yes, I think forgiveness plays a whole lot of role here, and you cannot forgive by yourself. You have to depend on God to help you because it's really hard. That's why we have a lot of this mental illness, depression. A lot of people, and the most people that are vulnerable are women. They are going through a lot. People are going through a lot in their marriage, and we see a lot. You have to make a decision to love again by letting go of your past. It's really crazy for you to be in a relationship after that trust has been broken, for you to love again. You have to make a solid decision to love again. The one thing I always tell people, you have to open yourself to a growth, and you have to repair your marriage or repair that trust back by building yourself up. Grow yourself. That man that has disappointed you, that woman that has disappointed you, let that man or woman see growth, new changes in you. Maybe the character or the attitude you portray, let there be a change. Grow yourself. Find something to do that will affect lives. And also, you cannot just repair your trust by fake promises. Maybe that man will come back to your life. Oh, I'm going to change. I've changed. You cannot just tell me you have changed by just saying it. You have to prove it. Then please, I'm talking to the viewers and those that are listening. You have to find a spot in your heart to forgive. Always forgive. Just like the first speaker said, as Christ has forgiven you, you should forgive. Sometimes it's not an ordinary thing. Maybe that person is under influence. But if the person come back and said, I've changed, and you see like a change of character too, give the person another try and chance and see what God will do.
Thank you very much. I want to base my last question on this comment. I want to look at this comment on the screen. It is projected. So my last comment or my last question will go around the table, and then we'll have a closing statement from everybody. Should we stay in the marriage for the sake of the family, children, in-laws, people that are affected, the bridesmaid, the groommen, and everybody who supported this marriage? Should we stay in it so that we don't step on someone's toes, so that we don't make someone to feel bad? But a gentleman said, I love my kid so much, and I will do everything in my power to protect them. But if a situation will cause or compare separation or divorce, then at that point, the kid won't be considered. How bad he loves his children, but if the situation arises that it will lead to separation or divorce, he is not going to consider the children, no bridesmaid, no in-law, no family. He is going to move forward. What is your take, gentlemen and ladies? Fasiat, you on top.
Yeah, and I will say he's a male, so that's a male perspective. But for me, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance and the age of the children, yes, we women, I will sacrifice for my kids until they are older. Where they, when I say older, I wait until they're out of high school. At least, they can comprehend and understand. It won't affect them that much. That's what I would do. But like I said, it's based on the circumstance. If I'm being brutalized and abused, then I don't want my children to see that. I don't want them to think that it's okay. or if the man is an alcoholic and he does not want to seek help, you know, then that's a different circumstance. I don't want to bring my children into that light or into that lifestyle. Then I will make the decision then, you know, to do what's best for the children. But if it is something that I think that can wait, you know, until they're older, then yes. And if we can work it out, then, you know, I pray that we work it out.
Thank you. Conan.
Well, I might not speak the brother's mind, but I want to think, because when you look at the timing, that was when you asked the question, do people consider the victims when they're about to make the decision for divorce? I think I want to think, because it was just about that time he posted his comment, I think he was alluding to the question that at that point in time, depending on the gravity of that have occurred, that has spoiled the feelings that's leading to divorce, he might not consider the children at that point in time, because, which is true, not only because he's a male, but even the females, when they are at the point of divorce, that point in time, whatever has, you know, influenced the decision, they don't think about the case at that point in time. At that point in time, what is considered is their feeling. Their feeling is number one thing at that point in time, because of why they feel hurt, and it's about them at that moment. People don't divorce because of the case, though. And sometimes they do, depending on mixed breed family. You know, like if my wife got children, I got children, you bring them in. Sometimes people divorce because of that, because that family is hard to to take care of. But be that as it may, I think if you truly love the kids, you know, regardless of what is going through, what is happening, if the both partners, you see, look, love is not conditional. And look at it from the other angle. You can't tolerate a partner. You need to be in love with a partner. If you are in a relationship where you're tolerating the partner, that relationship is bound to fall, because tolerating another person is conditional. You need to love the person in whatsoever circumstances or issues they find themselves in. So if you are in a marriage and the person has hurt you so badly, and you're not willing to allow that to clear out of your conscience by prayer, by, you know, involving into a lot of activities that can make you forget that thing, and you're going through divorce, I would think you can put a lot of good plans in place as mature couples. And Alexis Facia, there was a certain time before I came on, she talked about maturity. If the two couples allow their maturity to flow, whatever feelings that have not come into the marriage and causing them to go apart should not affect the children. So sometimes on the opposite side of sex, if I still wanted my partner back and they not wanted me to come back, at that point in time, that person, if they're not too strong or they don't take into consideration that those children are, you know, their future, they sometimes go by hating the children because the spouse they wanted back did not come back. Like, for instance, you want your wife back or you want your husband back, your husband did not come back, and then you use that time to hit the children, or your wife did not come back and she left the children with you, you use that time to hit the children. But the children did not cause any problem into your emotional debalancing. So I would want to think that whatever the case is, the children should not be affected. Even with your emotion, the children were sitting when God made them in heaven. They did not beg you to bring them. You, when you did your satisfactory enjoyment, and then you brought them on this earth. So you should not affect them at the expense of your emotion. They should be cardinal, and they should be treated with respect and, you know, honor. I will just want to stick to that point and say, yeah, that would be my contribution.
Thank you very much, Sister Flores.
Yeah, the Bible says God hates divorce. In as much as God hates divorce, is not all marriages are ordained by God or joined by God, because there are a lot of things going out there. People force themselves into a relationship that they are not meant to be together, and they are facing the consequences. So I'm just advising, like, if you have been abused in any relationship, it's really sad. It's really, really sad. There are a lot of women that are going through a lot of stuff, just like I said earlier, like it has led to depression. They have been abused. We have a similar case last year, that musician that died, Osinat, she or whatsoever, because she was abusing that relationship. Even the men of God, they covered everything. And even the man didn't even care. We saw the outcome of her death. So I'm just advising, if you have been involved in an abusive relationship or marriage, pray about it. You have to say it out to people. Let people know what you are going through. You have elders, because sometimes you just tend to be quiet and you are going through stuff nobody knows. You will lose your life. So explain to people what you are going through. If you are already there, pray together. If the man doesn't change, you have to go yourself too, because that man or woman that is looking low upon you, if you see yourself have grown to a certain level, I think they will try to succumb to you back. So as much as you can, don't allow yourself to be killed by people or your spouse. You have to go. I'm telling everybody. That's why I'm advising these young people that are coming up. Make sure you know the kind of relationship you are going to involve in. Before ever you take a step that I do, make sure you check yourself. Really good. Check the person. Look at the foundation. Now we have background check. Check where the man is coming from. Check where the woman is coming from. The attitude. You cannot just come to me and say, oh, just because I see you on Facebook, social media, I'm going to marry you. No. There is far more things behind. That's why we have a lot of divorce. I tell you, this is so sad. We have to say it to the community. We have to speak to the young ones that are coming up. You cannot just love somebody because of beauty, outward beauty. That one will not work, because it will fade after the makeup. Which kind of person you are behind that makeup? If you don't make up again, it's not about the outward, it's about the inward, the inside. That's why make sure you look for somebody that fears God, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. If you both fear the Lord, even they say the person is bad, you pray together, there is nothing God cannot do. So make sure you choose a person with the same religious background, because that one too is another problem. You married somebody with another religion, it will create a whole lot of problem and has led to a lot of divorce. Because if both of you have the same faith, you go to the pastor. If there is conflict or dispute, the pastor will join you to pray together. And if that marriage will not work, I know as long as God has destined you guys to be together, because sometimes conflict in homes doesn't mean you guys should just separate. It means you have to grow above that conflict and be better people that will be a testimony to a lot of people.
All right, so we'll go back to Anthony, and after that we'll have everybody statement.
Concerning the discussion on at certain point in time, the case will not be considered. I mean, in making a decision, there will always be time the case will be considered, I guess. But like Mr. Powell was saying, there are levels depending on the gravity of the situation. People always do a decision sometimes that will help them out of certain situation, like Pastor Sise was saying, the story of the late gospel musician Osinachi. There were times you could make a particular decision, but I guess maybe taking into consideration her image out there as a gospel musician, and maybe taking consideration of her children, she have to undergo all of the pain until it left her untimely death. So there are times you have to sometimes look at the risks involved in being part of it, and then be able to make a decision for your own safety. But again, you know what you are going through. You know the gravity of what you are going through. You know what you can bear. I mean, we will sit on the show and tell you, this is why you can bear. This is why you can bear. But again, everybody cannot bear the same pain. Everybody have levels of bearing pains. I mean, there are some things like Mr. Powell was saying, his own, he can reach to the place and forgive you. Another person will say, no, I can do it. What you have done, what you have done. I mean, so that's what makes us to be humans, right? We have different level of bearing situation or so. So everything you can bear, I mean, there are some things maybe people can talk to you on that you can see reason to bear, and there are some other things that you cannot bear. But just know the amount of load you can carry. If you're going beyond a point where it's leading to your life, then you can make a decision. I mean, there will always be ways you guys can co-parent when it comes to children. There will always be ways you can co-parent. But again, you into it, you know what you're going through, so you can make decision based on the gravity of what you're going through and decide from there. Yeah.
That was Pastor Anthony Boakai, my co-host. At this time, we'll go across the table for the closing statement. You can start with what we discussed previously, and you can conclude on everything. Then you can make your final statement. We want to start with Florence Sese, and then we'll go to Conan, then Fastia will close.
That you should put Christ as head of your family. Why most marriages are failing these days? Because they take Christ out. They live by their own imagination, by their own ways. If you put Christ in your family as head, you consider him on top, I think God will take control, because you don't have no perfect home at all. So make sure you trust God, pray together as family, because a family that prays together lives together. And also, for those people that are in these marriages that are going through a lot, it's so crazy. It's really, really crazy. I'm telling you, listeners, too, that know the kind of relationship you're going to involve yourself in before time. I tell you, they said charisma may get you at the door, but it takes character to keep you there. Your attitude, if you know this man will not hide some attitude. You have to check the person's attitude. But most women, they will know this man is bad. They will try to be out because of age. They have been running late. They want a child, or they have a child for this man. You know this man has a problem. You cannot even live with this man. You force yourself into that relationship and marry to that man. In the end, you are working out for a divorce, which is bad. Don't enter into a relationship that is not working, that you yourself, things are not right somewhere. You cannot fix a broken relationship out there. You said, oh, when we got married, this person will change. Not at all. That person, don't look forward that person will change. If you are not compatible together, it will not work. Make sure you shine your eyes. Really shine your eyes, because people are faking these days. They will pretend as if they are okay. After marriage, is another character, is another person you are dealing with, which they will ruin your life. We see a lot of people have gone all because of the marriages. A lot of people are not doing well. They have lost their values. They have lost their potential. They have lost all the fruits that is in them, and they are bitter, that they are extending those bitterness to other people that even couldn't understand them. You think oh, this person is so bad because of what they are going through in that home. So I'm just encouraging us, know the kind of relationship that you're going to involve yourself in. If you are already in one that you have not married yet, leave that person, I tell you. Quit that relationship. Most of you guys don't want to be patient. Be patient and wait on God. Some of these men that are coming your way, they are distractions. Even the women that are coming your way, they are distractions. God has kept somebody special for you. There's somebody that will be a perfect match for you. Just be patient and lean on God. Don't lean on your own understanding. Acknowledge God in all what you are doing, and He will direct your path.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Kudan.
Well, I also want to say it was a beautiful show. Sis Fastia, I like your articulation. Sis Florence, you guys are well articulated. Sitting behind this, camera to see these two giants quizzing us, you should know that this is not easy. This is a good platform. I like Joshua. I like Pastor Anthony. All of you guys are cool. To be honest with you, I always shy away when Joshua tries to bring me on, because sometimes when we're talking politics, and so I thought it was one of the politics I wanted to watch. But when I saw your hitting and how you call her sis, the other sis that left, and then she started talking about, and the word she used was, slavery mentality. I said, no, she's talking about we the men. I got to join because Anthony is the host. Yeah, I said, Pastor Anthony is the host. He might not want to put up the defense mechanism, but he's questioning around it. So Joshua said, but man, come on. So I came on, but it's good being here. So I would just want to speak to people out there. If you're already in a relationship that is having issue, I would say no relationship is problem free. No matter how the love is 100% plus, there is no relationship, there's no marriage that is problem free. If you are trying to enter a relationship, I would tell you leave up to 30% room for, hurt, 30% room for frustration, because not every relationship is going to give you 100% satisfaction. There are going to be some lapses. There are going to be some vacuums. There are going to be some emptiness into the relationship, because your expectation, no matter what your checklist is, people make checklists to enter a relationship. I want an educated woman. I want somebody who's fluent in the English language. I want somebody, you could have almost all of those things, and that person could shift along the line. You're not going to leave them because they shifted along the line, but yet they met your your checklist at a time. So I would say come in every relationship with an open mind, because it's not going to be 100%. Be willing to forgive. Even if your expectations were to some extent marginalized, you got to create room. And that's where communication comes in. If you've learned too many new things that your partner does not know, and this is where some of the marriages are crumbling. All right, for instance, this is a mature era. Let's look at sex. Some women like sex soft, some men like sex hard. So if your partner you have does not like the hard sex, and you are the rough guy, you need to communicate about it. Because if you don't reach one understanding, at some point in time, the woman going to feel abused, and she's going to leave you because she thinks you're not meeting the point where we'll understand her and meet her at, the point of her need. On the other side, you the woman, if you learn new things, you've gotten adjusted to the Western culture, the Western environment of romance. You like the rose petals, you like the flowers, you like the birthday cards, you like surprises, you like this, and your husband is a traditional African man who does not believe in all of those things. You need to sit on the round table and communicate about it, because I tell you what, he may not really just know how to do some of the things. I remember somebody said when they married, they like for their husband to kiss them right here on the neck. I said, wow, imagine. So she said she can even break a relationship if the guy doesn't do that. Why if the guy doesn't know that you like it? But she will assume that you've been with me for a number of times. You should know my body. You should know what I like. But there where communication comes in. Never assume that the person know what you like. Never assume that the person knows. They should have quizzed you, or they should have known you to know the best colors, to know what you like and what you don't like. If these things were not communicated from the beginning of the marriage, don't assume that the other person knows it. You have to communicate it. That's why communication is the bedrock upon every successful marriage or relationship. I want to urge all of you young people coming out there, it's not just do not love somebody with condition. I got a friend who entered a marriage conditionally. He felt sorry that this person was handled by their past relationship, and this person fell in love with them. And now today, the condition has shifted. They can easily leave the marriage. They got tons of children, and so they are living without brokenness in the marriage. I want to advise you, do not feel sorry for somebody to marry them. Do not feel sorry for somebody to fall in love with them. It's not a genuine reason to enter marriage or to enter any relationship. So we just want to caution you, especially you also got to take the cultural differences. And this is where I want to close. I remember I used to be on a social media platform, and I said it before. I said, especially we, the migrated Africans that have left Africa, getting exposed to new culture. If you went back home knowing the fact that we don't throw rose petals at the feet of our It is not easily embedded into our African culture. And then you brought a woman from back home who is not exposed to that civilization, or a male from back home or from Africa who's not exposed to that civilization, and you bring them to, you assume that they should meet you up to date because they are in America now, they're in Europe now, they should know how the Europeans live. You are assuming the person's role. You need to communicate what you want in that person and what you don't want in the person. Because if those things are not put into the right perspective, I can tell you why. That relationship, you will embed or invest every big thing into it. It won't hold. Never assume the person knows what you want. And I will close on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fasia.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Power and Anthony, for inviting me here today. This was a very, very important topic. Like I said, in the beginning, marriage is the only institution that you get the certificate first before, the marriage. When you go to a university, you finish all the courses, then you get the certificate. But in marriage, it's the other way around. So just make sure, that you define who you are and who you want to be before you get into a relationship. Don't think that you can change this person if you know this person's character. Don't come in and think, oh, if I have a child for this person, they will love me, or I can change them, or I can make them who I want them to be. No, you cannot. So the man is the head and the woman is the neck. We should always know that. Make sure you communicate, make sure you respect each other. And marriage is about sacrifice. If you put all of those three things together, the rest will fall in place. And make sure, like our sister said, make sure your foundation is based on the Lord, on faith. Make sure you can pray together. And if you're in a relationship, you have to be able to be vulnerable. When I say vulnerable, you have to be able to tell them, to be able to be transparent. You can tell them anything and don't feel like, oh, you don't have to pretend to be this other person, because it will not last.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Someone sent me this video, and it's humorous. It says, sometimes people have this long laundry list of what they want. You will not get everything. It said, if a man is handsome, his brain is empty. If he's brilliant, he's serious. If he's rich, he's disrespectful. If he's hardworking, he's never home for you. He doesn't have time. If he's serious, his ex is always calling him. If he's humble, he is broke. If he is respectful, if he is responsible, he is not romantic. If he's educated, he's always right. If he's illiterate, he gets angry when you correct him. And if he's smart, he lies a lot. So just food for thought.
That's a very good one, because it just speaks to the fact that you can't get everything in 100%. You have to
Right.
you have to work on it. You got to put it in. But just know that we'll be reaching out to you every Saturday for some fascinating topic. We'll reach out to you, and if you have the time, we encourage you to come on the platform so we can discuss. People from everywhere were watching. People watch the show on YouTube and after this, and they will have their own input. I want to say thank you very much. Anthony, you want to close us before we leave? A closing statement. You meet it.
Yeah, we want to extend thanks and appreciation to every one of you, especially our senior brother Power, jumping in to have a fruitful conversation. That was very, very much thoughtful of him. We appreciate that. And Minister Beatrice is not here right now, but we appreciate her too. And our sister Fasia from Indianapolis, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining. And Pastor Shishe, we also appreciate you. In conclusion, with the topic for today or today's discussion, I mean, everybody struck a very key point, and everybody gave their perspective concerning the topic. Like we said, study your relationship and know what works. Everybody going to speak from their point of view, from their experience. But it's possible that what people are experiencing is not what you are experiencing. It is possible that we touch some of the things that you are experiencing in your homes today, or we did not touch what you are experiencing in your home. But all we can say is that also study your partner love language and know what works for the person and try to work with it. Secondly, I want you to know, like Pastor Cecile was saying about the Bible says, for this cause a man shall leave and cleave. If you look at the difference between leave and cleave, it's the letter C. That letter C stands for Christ. So that means that if a man leaving with different orientation, or woman leaving with different orientation, when they cleave, what bound them together is Christ. It is Christ, that connecting force that bring them together, because when the both of them love each other in the likeness of Christ, then they will know what they ought to do and what they are not to do. The last one I want to speak on is communication. There is no effective relationship, or there is no perfect relationship, no relationship or guaranteed relationship that is established without communication. Come to think of it, let me go back a little bit. Jesus, being the second person in the Trinity, he have to pray continuously to his Father. Why Jesus have to pray when he's 100% man, 100% God? Because if you have to keep a relationship, you have to communicate. Communication is always the key. Tell somebody what you want them to do for you, what you think that they need to know. Don't just sit like Brother Powell said, don't just sit and think that he already know it, he been with me for 5-10 years now. No. Somebody said if you study a woman, you will never pass. Because every day she get a new thing, every day she get a new thing. So if you learn new thing today, teach the person here so they can know. Because I mean, the whole marriage relationship, I love the analogy from Sis Facia. Marriage is the only institution that you received the certificate before going through the courses. So I mean, the certificate is there, but the person not going through the course, the person have to learn every day from you. And so everybody changing based on atmosphere, based on the weather, based on things upgrading. So as you upgrade, teach your partner through the process so they can upgrade with you. Maybe there was something you used to like from the beginning, now you don't like it. Maybe your mind have exposed, you get to know something and now you don't like it. Just share it so the person can know it and you guys work together. We wish for everyone to have a successful marriage. Know that every marriage is workable. Your marriage has not reached to the place that is not workable. Every marriage is workable and every conflict can be resolved if only you people are open to have a resolution. So thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you for joining us and thank you for coming in and watching with us. We've been discussing on the conversation the importance or the cost and effect of marriage. I say I hit on Florence Cissé, Conan James Powell, Pastor Anthony Parker. We're here, Beatrice Flowers. We're discussing the issue. The next time we see you on Saturday, we'll bring another topic. Let us know what you want to talk about. You can inbox us when we discuss it. I got two things on my mind. Should we renew our marriage certificate? Should we renew marriage certificate? Or what is that one thing that you cannot consider no matter what? What is that one thing that you cannot consider in your marriage no matter what? Maybe mother-in-law, father-in-law intruding, maybe having kids outside of the marriage. But let us know what you think. We're going to choose one of the topics and talk about it. Folks, my name is Jay Joshua.
Who are the people that I know that have renewed their marriages? They ended up in divorce. Look at the statistics. So that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, should we renew our wedding certificate?
Renew your vow. All the people I know that have renewed their vow down the line, they ended up in divorce. So I'm against it just from what I've seen.
Right. So let's
I think renewal of vow is just based on culture. Like some culture, just something. I don't think it's any kind of
what I'm talking about, just how we renew our driver lesson every year or every 5 years. Should we renew our wedding lesson every 5 or 10 years?
Some people renew their marriage, after 25 years.
Right.
Then they get a divorce. That's just me. That's just what I've seen.
I've also been to a divorce party too.
That's a new trend now.
All right, for your nice guys. Have a very nice time. God bless you.
Good day. This was a very good topic. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, I'll let you know next topic.
All right.
Pastor Anthony Boakai, thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you too, man. It was great. I had a great time. I mean, all the women came up with strong opinions.
Yeah,
It's good to have an open conversation because, I mean, the reality is these are some of the things that we are facing in the society. And we, the young people who have not getting married, you need to get an open idea on these things before getting involved into marriage. Or some people who are already into marriage, it's never too late to learn. You always learn new things as you move on in life. So it's always interesting and always good that we open up to learn new things as we go on with our lives. So it was important, and I hope the next one will be as important as this so that I can create a time to be on the show. Even though I'm not that good talker when it comes to talk show, but
I mean, I love the fact that the women they were able to open. There are so many languages used that are very, very, very important. Fasia talked about marriage is an institution that you get a certificate before you go.
I learned that, and I have to write that down somewhere because I will use it in one of my teachings.
So more or less, you are going to something that you don't know nothing about, but you've been certificated for, you've been charged with dedication, and you don't even know whether this man is is abusive. Maybe you are hiding his character, but they say congratulations. Thank you for accepting this challenge. So it's a whole package, and when you get into it, before you get to know that, wow, what have I done? Sometimes on your wedding, on your night of your wedding, somebody can just ask you, say, you sure you want to do this? And people get, some people are very, very lucky. And some men that are watching the African show, some men come to the marriage with different intention. They will come very humble, very nice and everything. But when they get into the marriage, then they start to let out, all of those things that they have come with. So it's a deep thing. And modern marriage and traditional marriage, that is to say, our marriages back home, like somebody was saying, we don't have car back home. Everybody ride taxi or bus. So you're fighting, somebody fighting to get to the other side, fighting to get to the other side. By the time you get to the opening door for your woman, but instead of that home, civilized environment, where you got your own car, it's romantic. It's a good thing when you open your wife car, doing all that. But the environment also depends that too. So
yeah. The funny thing about it is that I just had a conversation with somebody on the opening of car doors. I think allow it to flow out of the person. It shouldn't be the major issue in the family or in the relationship. While when the person not open car door, they have to go out look ahead. Right. I think when somebody doing it willingly, it kind of look very good, and the person doing it on compulsion, wherein they are forced to do it. The person is not doing it out of the place of love, but they are doing it out of the place of being forced to do something. So another thing, somebody said, I watched a clip. Since you and I are still on the line, we're going to give our own idea too. I'm your host now. I'm hosting you. So I saw a short skit on this issue of a man, his wife, and his mother. They were going out, and the mother ran to the front seat of the car to sit at the front seat, and the girl go at the back. And the girl was so concerned, but why is the mother going like this? Why is the mother? So they had a little conflict. So the man gave the key to his wife to drive, and then he was going to sit at the back. Then the mother ran to the back that she wanted to sit with her son. So I was thinking about it. I said, wow, this is something that is very major, because you are the man now. You get confused in a place where what step can you take? So what's your take on that? What are you going to do in such situation?
So I saw that video, and it's a very hard decision. But this is what I got to say about that. I think the mother need to know her place, because most of the things she did in her video, it was not necessary. That is not her husband's house. That is her son's house. And so she had to give the woman who is in charge the respect. You know, she at one point in time, she even bashed in her room. You know, to her son, she wanted to talk to her son immediately and all that. So at some point in time, the man will need to take a decision. You need to prioritize. You know, who should be prioritized, because that is his family. She have a family, she have a life, and this man is building his family, making up marry her. That is his mom. You know, I respect my mom, I love my mom, but at some point in time, you will have to, you know, respect your own family. You know, at the time she got okay, so common sense would tell the mother-in-law that this is the man they're going out. You know, traditionally, like right now, if my parent come here, my wife will say my parents should ride the front seat. But that is mutual understanding. It is not demanding, you know, because that's my wife. Both of all money by the car. So if she want to sit to the front of my mom, she won't understand that. So, but if she gives the seat out to my mom, which is African tradition, is a good thing. But the mother should not. Respect is earned. It's not demand.
Yeah, respect is earned. That's a very good one too, because I feel like in what the skit we saw, I feel like the man should stand his ground and to show his mother her role. Know demarcation when it comes to things, and because he can permit it and his mother will keep doing it. But if he try to stand and make his mother know her role, then she will understand that, hey, my son is married now and he need to be treated as such, not to be treated as that young boy I know way back the line that I could pull him at any time and do this one at any time.
I mean, the two of them have their own faults. The woman got her fault, the mother got her fault. At some point in time, the woman only cooking noodles for the husband. And then the mother-in-law cooking beer African, you know, that will give us somebody. So if you know you as a wife, you know you can cook, then you know, or you can prepare that African dish, reach out to your mother-in-law, you know, say, man, how you do this thing? Be nice or something. So the woman said, no, my son, he can keep eating cereal, whereas I'm here, you know. So everybody just have to give in, you know, and just consider each other. But it's also a risk to have in-laws in your home.
Yeah.
You want a very peaceful life. Let the in-law be out. That is a third party.
Yeah.
Once third party start to come, you know, the wife parent talking to their daughter or the husband parent talking to their son, is a serious issue.
Yeah, and I feel like most, especially for the women, right? Most of the mother-in-law sometimes go at loggerhead with their daughter-in-law based on infertility. If they're noticing that there is no child in the home, and in Africa our parents don't joke with grandkids, and then they're noticing that no child in the home, they come out so strong on the daughter-in-law that knowing that they say, hey, the daughter-in-law is the cause. And one of the things we fail to understand is both ways. Infertility is not only on the woman, it can also be the man. The fault can also be the man, or the fault can be the woman. So what do you think on people handling infertility in the home? How they should go about it, and how third party or mother-in-law and father-in-law, whoever in-law, can go into such marriage?
So the thing is, the common saying, children are gift from God. The man is not responsible. The woman is not responsible. But that's why Beatrice or somebody said you gotta know your partner. We are in a modern world where everything is available. You know, go to hospital, see what the both of you match. But sometimes we mind the love too much until we get into the marriage without doing any, you know, test or to know that we're compatible. Take for instance, people that got sickle cell, you know that the both of you blood cell does not matter. You got secrets that the woman got the same gene type with you, and both of you get married. The kids will be affected. You know, so we have to go back to this happening. You know, maybe some people I have witnessed and I have seen people who marry for many years, they can born. Once the both of them separate, the woman start having children, the man start having children. You know, so we too we do contribute towards that, because no woman will want to be married to a man, even though she know that she cannot have a child, but bringing another child outside of the relationship, she's not going to be happy with it. You know, she might pretend to, consider that child, but the treatment of that child is another whole big thing. So if the both of you seeing that, that's a made a mistake, you get married, go to the hospital. You know, you can do something, check yourself, and maybe you got some medical issue, and work on it. But not having kids in your home is a whole big deal, and everybody take it very strong to it. You know, no matter how you love your wife or your husband, at some point in time that may want to have a child, and at some point in time, if even if they're not telling you, your family will put it in your face.
Yeah.
Or it's better to cut you from that before, like in America or in developed countries, some people they don't want children. So if the both of you agree on that you don't want a child, or your way adapt, that is something that you both can agree upon. Or other than that, if you know you want children and the woman cannot have child or something, you need to work on it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, man, I will see you again on Saturday. Next Saturday we'll make a little early. This one 12 because of Beatrice's schedule, but we'll do it at 11 if she can still jump in if she wanted to finalize for that time.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, man. Let me play my beautiful music. Let me see.
Okay.
Let him bring me in the middle of the water to let me drown.
All right, folks. Thank you for watching. Have a very wonderful time. God bless you. See you in trouble.
Let him build your home in me to move away. You let him build your home in me to move